I've got to create a box for 4 lanterns. And these will be for like storage whenever we're out and about. So I'm going to create a new file. And I've done one style before. So, okay, let's just make this thing 24 inches just for the sake of it, just to give us some room to play. And and then the thickness of this material is 5/8. And we're going to use the center to go off of. And we don't have a whole lot of resolution, so we're going to just go standard resolution. Click OK. And we have a sheet here that's 24 by 24. And let's go ahead and change that setting to 96 in height. Sure. And that way that'll give us some room to make these boxes. So we're going to go that way. And I'm going to go ahead and first thing I'm going to create a box with the gadget. And the box creator version 1.5. There it is there. And the inside dimension, since this is 5/8 inch material, and you know what, I'm going to go check that before I get too carried away. All right, I'm glad I checked that because it is 1/2 inch material, so it makes a big difference because it gets its stuff off of here. So we'll go 0.5 on that, and that will keep our resolution right. Then we'll go back over to the gadgets, go to the box creator, and I need to build a box with inside dimensions of at least 15 inches on the inside, so the height would be 50, so let's go make it 16 inches because it'd be 1/2 inch on each side, so we'll go 16 inches in height. And the depth will be inside dimension is 12 inches, so it will be 13 inches. And the width will be 13 inches as well. And joint width is, we're just going to go 1 inch on that one. And I'm going to put this allowance of 0.01 for my joint allowance. And we're going to make all 6 sides of this box. It's going to be square tabs. We're going to use a tab lid. And if you're not using this 1.5 updated version, you'll have to change these things each time. I'm going to set my end mill to 1/8 of an inch as just for the sake of it, because it cuts a tighter joint, and click OK. So basically that produced these box joints that are sitting right here, and we're going to take these guys right here. We're just going to move them down to the work, and about an 8-foot long sheet of plywood is what we're going to be working with. And we'll click over here and we'll recalculate all our tool paths, and everything calculated out good. So let's jump over here to our size of our job, and this is an end, that's an end, that kind. The only thing is my CNC isn't 8 foot long, it's only 24 inches long. So I'm going to cut these panels into shorter lengths, and for the biggest part, the height is 15 inches, so we'll cut them out of 16-inch pieces. So I'm going to make my panels 16 inches in length, and that way I can get pretty much 2 panels out of, or 1 out of each one for sure. And then the width of it is about 15 inches. So let's go ahead and change our material size just for the fun of it. I'm going to go down here, and since we're the width of this, we could probably get by with 16 inches. Let's just see what that looks like, and we'll see what that does. Click OK, and we'll grab all these right here, move them over onto our sheet. It gives us a little room to tack things down, and we'll just tell it to center that in the sheet. So let's go over here and tell it to center, and there it is there. And then we'll recalculate the tool paths just so that they'll all be clean and we won't see a whole bunch of nonsense going on here. Okay, so our panels are, let's say, 16 inches. We got 2 of these that are the same, and I really only need to do 3 of these. Okay, I'll just double it. So I'm gonna go ahead and simplify that real quick, and you'll notice that these right here are very similar, and one starts off with the kind of the square corner, and one starts off with an elongated corner. So that's how you can kind of tell what it is. In this case, it created 2 duplicates. Not always does this thing do it this way. And so we'll get rid of this one here first out of the group because we've already got it down there at the bottom. So we're just going to get rid of that one. And then we have this one here, and these two here are the same. So I'm going to get rid of this guy right here and get rid of that one. And then we'll go down here and clean up this guy right here. So we got two of these that are just the exact same right here and here. So let's get rid of this one right here and get rid of that one. Okay, we're going to recalculate all toolpaths just to keep our sheet clean. Click OK. And now what we have is we have these panels that are right here, and we're going to just kind of move them up, resize them down there to that kind of a deal. Okay, so there's our toolpaths. We're going to recalculate again just to clean them up. And that's what we're dealing with. Again, my sheet is not, 8 foot long. It's 24 inches long, and my biggest height is 16 inches. So I'm going to create my tiles over here. We're going to go over here and we're going to go to a tile toolpath, which is this one right here. Okay, and it's going to want the origin down in the lower left corner. So we're going to move that down there because that's just how it plays. Okay, so we got all the toolpaths set up. The corner is going down here, and we're going to go here to the tile toolpath. And on our tile toolpath, we're going to just feed through individual feed through X or Y. So we're going to be going through the Y, and our tile is going to be instead of 96 inches, it's going to be 16 inches wide, and that kind of thing. Now, right now we just have one tile, so we're going to update our tiles, and you'll see that we have some of these that are in there. Now, the question I have is, will these fit on 16 inches, which they won't. So let's make them 17 inches and update our tiles, and let's see where we're at now. Okay, so the first one is here. We're gonna have a little bit of waste in that. I'm gonna go ahead and move these two up. And the problem with the tile maker using a tiling tool is that unless you get all your things just perfect, trying to cut these joints across tiles is just almost next to impossible. So that's what we're doing here is we'll eliminate that. Let's go ahead and calculate our toolpaths, and they are now on our toolpath. So all I need to do is just run these three toolpaths, toolpath 1, 2, 3, 2 times, and this will cut out all my sheets for my candle lanterns. Okay, now this is the time that you would think about, okay, do I need to add handles in there? What I'm going to do. And I'll probably, since this is glass, and it's big enough that a person can carry it, and I don't really want to bang it around, so I'm going to want them to carry it with 2 hands. So I'm going to put handles in here. I am going to cut this box about right here after I get it all glued together, and then put a board on the inside to allow it to sleeve together. And I've allowed a little bit of a clearance for that inside. I'll probably just use some 1/4 inch material for that. So this is our sheet. We're ready to go. It's ready to cut, and we're going to hide the tiling tool path right now. And all our sheets will fit across the pieces like that. So we're going to go over here to our tool paths, and here is our cutout. And what that's done is that's given us the tool paths for cutting this out with a 1/8 inch drill bit. I'm going to go ahead and save this file real quick. Go File, Save As. And this is a lantern. I'm going to put it up here in my shark under lantern. And I'm going to go New Folder. And this will be lantern storage box for 4 lanterns. Okay, so we're going to put that in there. And we'll put that in there, and we're going to call this the same name, lantern storage box for 4 lanterns. And so we created a file, and there it is there, and it's saved into that file. Okay, that's on my hard drive, but I'm going to go ahead and save this to my thumb drive too. We're going to do a save as, and I'm going to put it down here on my thumb drive, and there's my thumb drive. I'll put it underneath the lantern there, and we'll just call it a new folder, same as the other one. lantern storage box for 4 lanterns. So there it is there. We'll put that right here, and there's our file. We're going to save that to our thumb drive, and then we're going to go over here to our toolpaths, and they've already been configured. I haven't changed a thing. They've already been recalculated. We'll go ahead and just tell it to recalculate those real quick, and we'll tell it to save the toolpath and output tile toolpaths. This is going to go tile 1, 2, 3, and 4 into that folder, and we're using the arcs for the sharp. Save toolpath, and we're going to put, okay, that's on my USB. We're going to line 4 of them, and we're going to cut out tap, and we're going to call this sides. Okay, we'll just call it lantern box. And we can just use cutout. Let's just click escape. Let's just save them, and we'll put them right in there in that same spot. Cutout tap. It's going to call them 1, 2, 3. So click save. Okay, we'll click file save. We'll go down here to our folder and make sure that it all got saved. Go to this PC, go to a USB drive, and whoops, cancel. And there's our lantern 4 of them, and there's your T1, 2, and 3. So all I gotta do is cut these things 3 times. It's 4.5 inch material, and all I gotta do is cut my panels 16 inches. My piece is 16 inches wide, and let's just jump back over here and look at this for our settings. And so it needs to be ripped to 16 inches, and then my tiles will be cut at 16. So if we went 16 by 16, we'll have plenty of room in here for these. So I'll leave that long just for the case of it, but our rough material will be 16 by 16, and that will give us good use of the plywood, as well as get us lined up for making this box. Okay, so let me go out to the shop and get this thing cut out, and let's get that done. Turn that vacuum off. Okay, I'm cutting that first panel of this box. As you can see, I laid out 2 side fences. I put a popsicle stick in there just as a spacer in case it was a little wider than the next. Give me a little playroom. And then I put these toggles to hold the piece down right in there, and then I put a couple cams here to keep it from moving around. And the only problem is when I was running the software and setting up, I didn't go in here and tell this to do this in 4 cuts instead of probably 14 is what it's doing. So it's been cutting for 16 minutes and hadn't cut through it yet. So I thought, okay, I need to go in there to Aspire and change my tool path to do this in 4 cuts instead of 14. So let me go in there and get that done. 1.5, it remembers my settings, and for some reason it picked up all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and save that tool path, calculate, click close, and we'll save our tool path. And there it is there. Tile tool path, save tool paths, putting it in there and save, and it should overwrote them with today's date at 2:28 p.m. So let's go ahead and click file save and jump over here and double check that those files are still there and they're in good shape. See if they have today's date. 8:42 p.m. No, it put it someplace else, didn't it? So let's go ahead and get rid of these guys here and go back up here and edit this thing. Probably put them on my hard drive. So there we are. We're going to go over to our tool paths, pin that up here. Cutout should be still set at, okay, edit passes. Okay, we're going to set that at 3. Yeah, I put it on the hard drive. Let's go down here to 4. Set passes and click OK. Those are 4. Click calculate and click close. and we'll save our tool paths. Save tool paths, and we're going to go put them on the lantern in there and save. And then we're going to hide that. File save. Close that. And then if we go into that lantern, there's our brand new 3 of them and 230. So that's our 3 files. So we'll go ahead and cut them off of that. That's our saved file. I do need to probably copy this to my Sharp lantern file, even though it's probably about the same because our under storage box for 4 lanterns, and we hit paste. Yeah, there they are right there. So we're going to click paste and replace the file and destination. And generally I don't keep my tap files in the folder on the hard drive. I just keep them in the USB drive because it creates them. Okay, so let's go back out here and take this thing and get it done. Alright, I just took this from 21 cuts down to 4. So it won't be long before it gets this business done. There'll be 4 cuts on this 1/2-inch plywood, and they will be about an 1/8 inch each time. And that 1/8 inch bit should be able to do that. This is just a 1/2 inch normal plywood, so not exceedingly hard. And hopefully it won't break any bits. We'll find out here when it gets going around. And there she goes. I just basically stopped it about halfway through and canceled it, and came back and starting it over again. So it'll get down in here and do a cutting part of this in just a second. Okay, that took 6 minutes and 32 seconds, and so that's about 5-6 times faster, 7 times faster maybe. Anyway, so this piece is done. I'm just gonna take this out right here, and it's a little heavier. It doesn't move around too much. Anyway, so there's my joints. 1/8 inch bit does a nice job of that. I'll cut 1 more of them, and that was the shorter piece that I had, so we'll line it up and put the shorter one in there and cut that one again. Alright, after an overnight glue up, this is my lantern box, made out of 1/2 inch plywood, 1 inch box joints all the way around it on 6 sides. These are I made 1 other box just because I had the plywood. Clearing out my big sheets that are along the wall there. And anyway, I'm out of Type Bond 3, so I'm going to go grab some more and pick that up, and then I'll glue this one back up. So makes a pretty solid box. And there we go. I am going to take some cedar deals and make some cedar deals on the side of it so that it'll sit on it. And we're building cardboard boats today. So there we go. Okay, when I'm gluing box joints, this is how I do it. I just basically take glue and just start spreading it on all of the joints. Everybody. And what that's doing is that's giving me a good chance of getting glue on all the faces. And I go around all the edges as well and try not make as much of a mess that way. But I'll go through there and hit all my joints like that, and then go around and put a dab there, and it'll run down into the joints as it goes. And you know, it's kind of funny, I've never had one of these boxes fail whenever I'm doing this. I mean, these things are rock solid. They're just bone dry. I mean, top of the line strength. And let me go ahead and finish the rest of this up. All right, I've got them all glued on there, put it on there. Now I'm just going to assemble it, and then I'll wipe it down and put clamps on it. Okay, that's just the mess that's on the floor a little bit. Not too bad. I'll go ahead and wipe that up with a rag, then I'll put my clamps on there. Alright, made 2 boxes. Did line these up with some good old-fashioned cedar, western cedar fence pickets, and line them up. This will give me a place to put my hinges in for my the hasp on here in the door. So basically we'll cut this on a table saw right down the center, and then I'll put my hinges and then the hasp over here on this side here. So boxes is came out pretty good. Miter's a little bit sloppy on the fit, but I didn't sand it. I left it really rough, and it's got a little bit of a deal right in there. But hey, you know, you can feel the fingers. But like I said, I didn't sand it. These will sit outside. I'll put a helmsman finish on them. Maybe stain them a little bit darker. Put a helmsman finish on them, and then they'll basically sit outside as a frontiersman box. They also double as a seat, so we'll get that to work, and store the lanterns inside, and that will protect them and that kind of thing. So next operation is to cut them on the table saw.